Coach, how we doing?
Good.
Jalen Chifino, what was it about him? What did he do to earn a starting spot on your team coming as a freshman?
He's competing. He competed when we first started 5 months ago. And he's put himself in that position. I didn't know who was going to start, but, I thought, having two guards that can handle the ball and make plays, and then you can take them out and play them with the second unit. Or, I played a lot of X and Jalen together. Not a lot, but some. But I played Tamar Bates and Gallo together a lot as 1, 2, however way you guys perceive, positions.
Wait,
And
did you mean Bates or you meant?
Tamar Bates, and not tonight, I'm just talking about since we've been together.
Oh, I guess.
And the reason I did that was to give Tamar Bates and Galloway more experience in handling the basketball and bringing it up the floor and being decision makers. And my coaches probably thought I was crazy in doing that, but it's been good for us because I think it's going to pay off in the long run. I'm not saying that I'll play them two together, but probably with a point guard, either X or Jalen. But Jalen earned the right to start. I mean, he's put in the work.
Zach?
Ask you about Jalen. About Jalen and Malik both. You guys were so strong as a team defensively a year ago. How sort of smooth has the transition been in fitting them into what they need to be comfortable with, where they need to switch and how they need to communicate with the team when they're defending the way you want them to?
Well, that's going to come more and more with practice and games, but I thought tonight everybody was pretty much on par in terms of how we defended. And I look at Jalen and Malik. They came out of a system in Mount Vernon that coach is a damn good coach, and he pushes guys to play hard and do the right things on both ends of the floor. So I think the transition from them coming in is, especially for Jalen, has really been easy for him because the kid works. And Malik, I thought tonight was fantastic, man. He did a lot of good things defensively, rebounded the ball, and we know he can score the ball. So, I mean, it was kind of nice. I mean, starting those two guys the first time at the college level, I thought they passed with flying colors tonight.
Alex?
Coach, Logan was just in here and said last summer maybe he didn't do everything he needed to earn minutes last year. What, as his coach, did you notice different out of him this offseason, and where do you think he's grown the most as a player?
Well, he's working. He's putting in work, but he's got to work more. And I'm on him about that. And I know I'll never make guys work and get in, where the class work gets in the way. Class is first, but when you got a minute or 10 minutes, 15 minutes where you can get in the gym and get shots and do some things that can enhance what you do to help us, he's got to do that. So that's what I'm on him about more. But I thought tonight I told him after the game, man, in front of everybody, boy, I was just so proud of him because he's hung in there with me, he's caught a lot of hell, and he responded.
Dustin?
Mike, you mentioned, you mentioned you having running Tamar to one before. I mean, just when did you find out you weren't going to have Tracy Tamar, and how much did that kind of keep you from maybe doing some of the experimentation you might have wanted to do with this game?
Well, again, yesterday I knew that they weren't going to play today, once I got to practice. So you just go to plan B. It's next guy up. It's kind of how I look at it. I can't wait on guys. I gotta build a team to win, and we'll get Trace and Tamar back eventually, and then we'll fit them in and do what we need to do.
George?
Woody, you obviously had a plan to see how this ball club was going to play today. What impressed you most about today's game?
Our defense, in terms of how we communicated, You know, it's tough when you add 4 young guys to your team, and they got to be a big part of it this season. So I'm on them constantly. You guys got to be a sponge. You got to absorb everything that we're trying to get done, you know, on both ends of the floor. And I thought tonight they did a hell of a job, man, in terms of our switching. And, you know, we got beat a few times, but for the most part, they were competitive, and that's all I can ask.
Tom?
Mike, you've made a point of emphasis with Race about hitting some perimeter stuff. He goes 3 for 3 tonight. How'd that make you feel?
Makes me feel good because, again, when I came in, I was told he couldn't shoot threes. You didn't want him shooting threes. You didn't want him handling the basketball. And now, hell, he's a player. You know, he's a basketball player now. It's kind of nice.
Mike?
Coach, you did the closed scrimmage last year against Belmont, I believe it was. This year, 2 exhibitions. What are kind of the pros and cons in your mind of this approach versus last year?
Well, again, it was new for me last year. That was already in play. I had nothing to do with that. But Marian, you know, listen, Steve Downey, man, who's the AD there, is a great friend of mine for many, many years. I always give him I talk about it all the time. In '76, when IU was playing for the national title, I sat at his house. His wife cooked a big ass pot of chili, and man, I probably ate 4, 5, 6 bowls of that chili, man. And you know, I've been starving ever since. You know, so I'm gonna see her here in a few, and I'm gonna tell her she's gonna get that chili going again. But no, Steve and I have been friends for a long time, and I'm proud of the job he's done as AD, you know, at Marian, and giving them the opportunity. I'm gonna do it every year that I'm here. I think he can come in here and play.
Jim?
Mike, you talked earlier about the play of Malik and Jalen and Shafino, and we knew that they had come from a program that had been really pushed playing for national championships. But even with that and seeing them in practice, they are the 2 leading scorers for you today as freshmen in their first game. How hard, you know how hard that is as a former player. That's got to be impressive for you to see them do that. No,
it is impressive, again, but a lot of that is the fact that they're so in tune in what we're doing, and that's valuable, man, in terms of, you know, building a winning team. Everybody's got to be on board, and it can't be just about Jalen or about Malik. You know, this is a team, man, and I'm trying to push these guys along with my staff to do all the necessary things on and off the court to help us win basketball games.
Go ahead.
Coach, all 4 freshmen get in the game tonight, as well as all available scholarship players. I know it's an exhibition, but this is probably the plan going forward when you come to a game like this. How important is it for all those guys to get valuable minutes today?
Well, I mean, it's important for everybody to play because from a coaching standpoint, I'm still learning and trying to figure out who can do what, even though we've been together 5 months. You know, practice is different than the game, actually, you know. And I've always believed if you practice well, you play well. And I thought yesterday's practice, you know, we didn't do a whole lot, but it was pretty sharp. And the carryover was nice. Now, if you would have said that 2 or 3 days ago, and we walked into a game, I would not be making that statement, you know, because we had a terrible practice. So I thought yesterday everybody was in tune, knowing that we had this game today, and they all came out and performed.
Last question.
Coach, I know it's a big win for you guys, but you just said practice and game's pretty different. After your first game of the year against a different opponent, what kind of areas of improvement do you see? What can this team get better?
Well, again, you can always get better. You know, defending and rebounding the ball, that's got to stay consistent every time you step out on the floor. Because I know it works, man. If you defend and rebound the ball, you will be in every ball game, every game. Now, if you're making shots and you're making free throws, then it really enhances what you do from a team standpoint. So, yeah, we still got a lot of work to do, man. I still got to get Trace back, and I got to get Tamar in the mix. You know, we got some work still left to be done. A lot of work.
Thanks, Coach.